Good morning, everyone, and welcome to BGA's Tuesday Morning Coffee Talk. These are our weekly sessions where we're providing industry insights to agents. We will share product updates, market trends, policy changes, and marketing that will help agents find the sales to grow their business. We post these on YouTube every Tuesday before noon, and for our listeners on Spotify podcasts. My name is Trent Zimmermann, and I'm your host. And this week, we're joined by Jim Duff, Senior Vice President of Mutual Omaha. 46 days on the job. Good to have you here.
Yeah, thanks, Trent. Great to be here.
So let's take it from the very beginning. I see you've got the helmet in the background. You went to University of Richmond to play football and
That's,
returned to Pittsburgh, started a career with your father's agency.
that's right. I actually started my career at the University of Richmond while I was a junior in college on a football scholarship. I like to tell people that I actually came into the insurance industry probably around 8 years old. Spent a lot of nights and weekends in my father's agency playing trucks on the floor and later spending time filing. So being a family business, Trent, I'm sure you understand how that is.
Yeah, I
Uh,
do.
but I went off to the University of Richmond and I was there on a football scholarship and played for the Spiders. And in our junior year, we had a career night. And the University of Richmond at the time was actually broken up into two schools, the University of Richmond, which was Richmond College for the men, and West Hampton College for the women. So Richmond College had career night, and so all of the juniors gathered into to a large auditorium. They had us stand against the wall, and the dean spoke and said, "Hey, when I give you the go ahead, we brought professionals from various industries into the room here, and we encourage you to go sit with these individuals to learn about the profession and ask them questions about what it's like to work in that field." And Trent, at the time, I really thought I was going to be an attorney, and the dean says go. Jim Duff being 6'5", 260 pounds at the time, or 70 pounds, whatever it was. I didn't move as fast as everyone else. And by the time I got to the legal table, they were three deep, and I figured that was going to be all night. True story, turned around behind me is the insurance table. It was an 8-top table. There were 7 empty seats. And a fellow by the name of Pat Robson was sitting in one of the seats. And I sat down and chatted with Pat and talked to him about my father being in the business and talked about what he did. And he was a career agent with Mutual of New York. And long story short, about a week later, I became a career agent with Mutual of New York myself. And even while I was in college, began selling insurance. So this probably explains a lot of who I am. I met my wife at the University of Richmond, and on our dates, we would travel up and down Interstate 95 and stop at all of the truck stops so I could put posters up for health insurance that I was selling to long haul truckers. So they would make a stop, they would see my sign, and they would grab a postcard. I'd go back to school or practice or what have you, and they'd fill out a postcard and mail it back in, and I'd sell insurance through the mail. So, and it was kind of a double use there, Trent, because I also got a lot of great dates at truck stop diners, which was outstanding.
Yeah, you're getting that good long haul coffee.
That's right.
So this led you then how to Transamerica.
So from there, I became a career agent, and I stayed in Richmond several years. And my father said, I was home for Christmas one year, and he said, "Hey, look, would you be interested in coming into the brokerage business?" And I moved back to Pittsburgh and joined my father's brokerage agency and became a brokerage manager in his firm. And as you know, in a small agency, you're not just the brokerage manager, right? You're the case manager when need be. You do commissions, you do contracting, you change the toner and the printer. You do it all. And it was probably the richest experience that I had in our industry, learning the business first as an agent and then as a brokerage manager, and ultimately acquired that agency. And years later, I sold the agency to one of our agencies, which was a local broker dealer, and joined Transamerica for the Eastern United States.
Oh. And then from there, you jumped over to Crump and retired in December 2023. And I've got to ask you the elephant in the room. Did you just not enjoy retirement?
Well, retirement was by name only, I would say.
Okay.
So I had to declare retirement to be able to lock in stock and some benefits and some bonuses. So I declared retirement. I entered retirement on December 29th and joined Mutual of Omaha on January 2nd. So it was wonderful. Retirement's fantastic.
Yeah.
It was felt a lot like a long weekend.
Well, you were at Crump, you moved over to Mutual of Omaha. Were you doing a lot of business with them at the time? How'd they find you?
Yeah, good question. So I was part of Crump's executive team and responsible for the IMO at Crump called TELUS Brokerage, and we represented Mutual of Omaha from our 70 plus partner agencies, and but I've known Mutual of Omaha from back in my career days with Mutual of New York. And to me, Mutual of Omaha was always that beacon on the hill, that stable mutual company that really was the bedrock of the insurance industry. And so through my brokerage career and then into Transamerica when I was there, Mutual of Omaha was always just that stable company. At TELUS, the TELUS agencies, depending on their markets, use Mutual of Omaha in varying ways. And just because of the diverse product line that Mutual of Omaha had. So I was fortunate enough to know many of the Mutual of Omaha executive team and a lot of their sales teams. And when I had made the decision to leave TELUS and Crump, I was approached regarding the Mutual of Omaha opening of running their sales organization, and thought that would be an awesome position to be in. So I literally ran to Mutual of Omaha for that opportunity to be part of what I consider to be the future of our business.
Well, you touched on a point here that Mutual of Omaha is a brand that has come to be very well respected in the industry. And I think there's a perception even in the consumer base that loves them as well. In no small part to Wild Kingdom, and that I just got your marketing that's come back on. Were you the one to bring that back?
Yeah. in the last 46 days, right?
Right.
It's actually quite fun that folks that I talk to about Mutual of Omaha, there's a certain generation and older that says, "Oh, I remember the Wild Kingdom," and now once again into the wild. So it's an awesome branding for us and a big part of who Mutual of Omaha is.
Yeah. Well, you're coming in now as SVP, and you've seen several sides of the business, from an agency side, carrier side, GA as well, and now sitting as SVP for a Fortune 500 company. What unique perspective are you bringing in for them?
Yeah, that's it's a great question. I would love to say that what I'm really bringing is perspective in the marketplace. Going from a small GA, originally from being an agent and understanding the underlying functions of who our customer is, not the end consumer, but our customer and distribution is of the agent and their needs and wants in the marketplace. to a competitor at Transamerica, right? And then working with some of the best distributors in the industry with TELUS, and working with all of the carriers out there. The perspective that I'm able to bring there is, how do we be better in the marketplace? My retirement days, those 4 days in between, right? I sat down and said, what makes the best carrier? How would you define the best carrier out there? What would I want that to look like? And it really started with some simple things. One is just be the easiest to do business with. And I think we're going to see technology continues to drive that, right? And the ease of business. And there's different types of ease of business, right? There's the convenience ease of business, and then there's the understanding ease of business, right? And the flow of business. But be easy to do business with, and be competitive in the space. And when I was I told you, when I'm talking with individuals prior to joining Mutual, I had the opportunity to have a conversation with James Blackledge, our CEO. And I've talked with a lot of carrier CEOs over the years and heads of distribution. And there's a big focus on value creation, big focus on margin, big focus on return. And when I sat down with James, he only talked about our end user, our policyholder. And he kept making this one statement, and he said, we're protecting what they love and helping them build a strong financial future. And I think that's the key here, is that the third piece is the second piece, deliver competitive products, but deliver on what you promise. And then lastly, the third piece, and I just met with our sales team yesterday in Omaha, but have the best, most professional sales team in the marketplace. So at TELUS, we used to survey all of our agencies, and we called it the Carrier Experience Survey. And I asked a question about, what makes a good wholesaler and what makes a great wholesaler. And wholesaler is a broad definition today, right? We have true BGA wholesalers, and we have sales teams that work in the simplified issue space. So I'll generically call all of them, anyone coming from a carrier manufacturer, a wholesaler. But what makes them the difference between good and great? And I say, a good wholesaler today, table stakes are, you've got to know your products inside out. You've got to understand the marketplace, right? And a great wholesaler is, your competitors' products as well as your own. And a great wholesaler also understands the rhythm and the needs and the focus of our partner agencies and the distribution groups out there. So, those three things I think are really important. One, easy to do business with, right? Be competitive and deliver on your promises. And three, have the best of class sales teams in the market.
Well, we certainly love our wholesaler here. So you've done a good job there. And it will continue to get better. But I want to talk about where Mutual of Omaha stands out. And you already touched on one. But to me, it looks like the final expense, the low-cost IUL, the express markets, and the business planning. So let's touch first on express markets, making that easy to purchase, since you've already begun there. What innovations do you see help make this better? Where do you want to push the company in that direction more so?
Yeah. So I go back to the premise of my first day in the business, and that is, how do we ensure more Americans, right? Mm-hmm. And express products today are helping us do that, because look, the diversity in distribution today is great, both from full-on planning to transactional business, and our express products today are some of the best in the marketplace. And what's important about that is two things, because if you think about it, Express, you're really getting convenience with that. And there's a trade-off. Everything in business is a trade-off here, right? I look at distribution and sales from a carrier to our distribution as an exchange of value for premium and revenue, right? When you look at a process and a product, and we put a product out there and have a fully underwritten or an express product, there's a trade-off there. You're trading convenience for the product and the speed and what have you. So when I look at that today, how do we improve the process? And it's simple things. It's really easy things. It's having knockout questions early on in the process. So the flow through rate, if someone's not going to qualify for an express underwriting, let's let them know quickly, and let's get them into a fully underwritten where we can better position the product. So it's things like that of applying technology. But the key to it, all of this is we have to make sure that we as an industry understand, even in an express product, the underlying performance of these products, where we stress test the products and make sure that those underlying products perform as the promises we're making. So one of the things that I have found and heard inside, and we will continue to do and be, is that company that's delivering products that we're going to deliver on our promises. So what does that mean? Is that we're not putting out products. We don't want to put out products that are going to have shiny objects in offerings as far as participation rates and caps that are not sustainable. I believe that our new customers and our old customers should be treated the same. So we're not going to be looking at new money rates. We're going to look at really portfolio rates for that. And it's things like that that drive into both our fully underwritten and our simplified underwritten products that we're going to continue to expand on.
And now you're talking about stress testing, and I think that's a good lead into the low-cost IUL market and really putting pressure on that product to make sure it's illustrating as promised. It's a competitive market, so how can you stay competitive and really feel like you're putting out an honest product into the market?
Yeah, so the competitive is in many different areas, right? Competitive is not necessarily cheapest price, highest death benefit based on assumptions that are, to use some third-party analysis on this, or some analytics that say, hey, we've got some competitors out there that are putting out introductory rates that are not sustainable. We're working with some third-party groups right now looking at what is the sustainability of the products long-term based on the indice that you're using, and how can you tweak that product and understand the performance of that product in an extreme stress test. And we talk a lot about this stress test, and all I hear is, hey, but the industry doesn't show it like that. The industry doesn't run an illustration and drop crediting rate down to 5% and show an increasing death benefit for a period of time, and then draw income for life with this lower crediting rate, because what that does is that heats the product up. And we know that in that stress scenario, we have products that aren't performing as they're being illustrated, because what it does is it exposes the underlying expenses of that product. Mm-hmm. So how do we provide a tool in the marketplace that enables an agent in his or her office to be able to stress test the product to make sure that the underlying product that they're selling can perform? Because they're making promises to their customers too. So Mutual of Omaha is going to provide products that we believe will stand the test of time and that will perform under these stress scenarios, and therefore we'll be able to deliver on the promises that we make.
So you're talking about a pretty complex idea there of stress testing, and you're talking earlier about having the most professional wholesale team out there. How can you improve that downline distribution to be able to convey that message.
I love it, because this is exactly what we're talking about already in 46 days. And it's all about education, right? We know that regulation is knocking at the door today. It's already here. Best interest best interest actually makes me laugh, because best interest, when I came in, was my father's conversation with me of, it's obvious we do what's best for the client, not best for ourselves. But we have to be regulated today. So how do we as an industry, how do we stop and say, I've tested this product and I know in tight scenarios? So this is an education process that has to begin at the carrier, with the wholesalers, with the GAs, down to the agents. So our belief is that we have to educate you, our partners, and our agents that you're working with, your agents that you're working with, our downline. We have to be able to educate them on how they can stress test policies themselves, and therefore make an evaluation on the underlying product that they want to represent and want to sell. Then from there, they know that product will perform in a stress scenario. From there, they can do creative illustrating or show funding patterns that their client may need, or modifications to the death benefit that their clients may need. But they go to sleep at night knowing that they're selling a product, that the underlying product is stable.
Yeah. We had one of our brokerage directors on here talking about annuities. And he was talking about how at the end of the day, you have to be able to sleep at night knowing that you put them in the right product.
That's right.
And so it's good to have that triangle of a well-tested product, good education, and then ease of use to get somebody into a product. So I'm glad to see that growing here. Now, you've had 46 days on the job. I know it's early on. I know you've talked about stress testing. But what directions would you like to see Mutual of Omaha start to go in?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's a lot of different areas, but I'll tell you what excites me from what I've seen is the kind of the crossroads between business as usual, right, with an insurance carrier today, and the way that we come to market with product and build product and design product and make tweaks to products, with the technology that's coming down the pike to enable carriers on various platforms to be able to deliver products faster. So again, if you think through this, the developmental phase of a new product is one thing, and then getting it onto a platform to be able to deliver that, administer the product, etc. That both of them take time, and so the development time typically, I remember back with Mutual of New York, we would get products out every January because they'd work on these products every year. We'd have a new suite of products to come out, or a tweak to the product to come out. But technology is going to enable us to be able to deliver products every 3 months. And then I'm sure with technology, we're going to be able to do it faster and faster from there. So that enables us to look at varying products down the road and be able to make tweaks to products faster, and obviously all of that better for the consumer.
Yeah, and that's a good combination with your portfolio rates and staying honest on those. So I like that a lot. Now, you've been in this brokerage space. You know that agents are calling on us to solve complex issues that arise, unknown illnesses or things going on that didn't show up when they did the first interview with the client. And I know you're known in our office as the USS Duff. So I know that some of those white hairs have been due to us. So how can these agents be confident that Mutual of Omaha is going to be dogged to follow through?
Yeah, it's a great question. You talked about a couple of things there. One is the ease of underwriting, right? The fluidless programs moving forward. Mutual of Omaha just came out with our fluidless program, 2 million to 10 million. Obviously this is for, individuals that have current up-to-date medicals that are tracking their health and are paying attention. But how can they be assured that the USS Mutual of Omaha, is that what you said there at the end?
USS Duff.
Well, the USS Duff, I remember those days, right? But how can they be assured that Mutual of Omaha is going to be there to deliver? And I would say just look at the last 115-year track record that Mutual of Omaha has delivered on their promises, and look at what Mutual of Omaha puts out today, the products that we're building today, and the stability and the sustainability of those products, and the chance of those products performing when you put them under a stress test. Mutual of Omaha is not putting products out that are shiny objects or fast modified products with introductory rates. We want to be in this for the long term. To quote our CEO, we want to protect what people love and help them secure their financial futures. But most importantly, we want to deliver on our promises.
I think that's a great close to this, that when we look at you guys, we look at honesty. And when the office heard that you were coming into this position, there was a lot of excitement there. So congratulations. We're looking forward to working with you. We love working with Nate, and we're looking forward to agents seeing this and hearing more about it and getting excited to selling more Mutual of Omaha. So thank you everyone for watching. Follow, like, and subscribe. The more you participate with these videos, the more we can twist Jim's arm to come on here and talk to you guys about the great products that they have. So thank you all, and we'll see you again next week. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Trent.